much for your time. Good to see you.
Yeah, no, good to be here, Madison.
Talk me through the customer demand picture at the moment. Are people buying cars, or are they just looking to sell them in this environment?
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of demand out there. I mean, there's 4 million cars in New Zealand, and 1 million of them are 20 years or older. So there is always demand in the used car market, which is great for a business like ours. And the markets have been tracking down, but we're still seeing plenty of demand in Turner's business. I would say there is a definite shift down in terms of price points. So we're seeing demand moderate at the more expensive end of the market, and certainly firm at the sort of less than $15,000 end of the market.
But volumes are holding up?
Yeah, volumes are certainly holding up for us, yeah.
What portion of your sales are electric vehicles?
Very small. I mean, there's still around, about 1.5% of the installed base in New Zealand is a battery EV. So there's still very small numbers of these cars transacting in New Zealand. We're starting to see EVs flow through from the corporate fleets, and particularly out of that sort of ex-lease type car that we get through Turners. It's very difficult to source used EVs out of Japan. There's just so few numbers of them. So they're growing, but they're still at very small numbers.
We're told that consumer behaviour is shifting towards EVs, especially with new imported vehicles at least. So do you see that as a bit of a risk for Turners, or are you not worried about that at the moment?
No, I mean, our business is based on churn, and what I would say is that we're not selling the same cars today as we were selling 50 years ago. So people's needs are going to change. They will be trading up, trading down, bigger, smaller. So really this business is based on churn. I mean, we do see, being the biggest used car seller in New Zealand, we do see a role to play in helping the vehicle fleet transition. So, we think about our subscription fleet in particular as a place where we're seeding EVs and kind of giving people the opportunity to try before they buy. A really simple way of doing that by taking out a subscription for a month, using an EV and seeing whether it suits your lifestyle before you actually make the commitment to spend, several thousands of dollars to make that decision.
You mentioned sourcing there. How is sourcing going for the rest of the stock on hand? Is that easier post-COVID, or is it still a bit of a struggle?
We've put a huge investment into our sourcing capability in this business, and we own roughly about half the cars we sell, so the other half comes from the ex-lease type cars or government cars and things. I mean, the Tina campaign has been a sort of a big driver of leads and awareness that Turners is a place that you can actually...
You didn't make that one easy for yourself, did you? Tina from Turners, it's quite enough.
Exactly, yeah. That Turners is a place that you can sell a car as well as buy a car. I think we've always been known as a place that you can go and buy a car, but not necessarily a place that you can sell your car in a very easy, convenient way, which is, typically that can be quite a painful experience for people, particularly if they're doing it themselves. Sourcing is a big area of kind of focus and investment for us.
Where do you see more of your market share being captured? Do you plan on getting that off things like Facebook Marketplace, stealing some off Trade Me?
We don't sort of view it that way. I mean, Trade Me is a place where we advertise cars, and it's a very necessary part of our marketing mix. We're growing our market share, which is great. We're opening more branches. We are selling more cars down our kind of retail channel and reaching more end users, which has been a very deliberate strategy of ours. So, kind of the more places we're expecting our market share to continue to grow.
So I take it you're buying more land for more branches then?
Yeah, and we're buying more land or leasing more land, but we certainly have a very good pipeline building of new branch developments. Coming soon.
Where do you think you are in that process to possibly peak branch network?
Oh, I think we're quite some way off it. If I think about our market share growth over the last few years, we've kind of been around that 5%. We're now kind of getting up close towards 10. We've got branches in the network that are easily hitting the mid-teens. Some of them hitting in the 20 to 30% of their local regions. So I know there is still plenty of market share growth opportunity for us ahead of us. Yeah.
Now, I do want to talk to you more about Tina, but I'm going to save that because it's special for last. But firstly, I want to talk about your finance division. So you do actually do lending and insurance as well. Yeah. Specifically on the lending, the OCR has been a big conversation over the past couple of years. Yeah. How much of a margin do you make on auto lending on top of the OCR at any given point? Because I can imagine it's quite a bit more than housing, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yes, obviously it's more than housing. We're taking more risk by lending to consumers to buy cars. It's a fairly low, low intense process, if those are the right words, around the lending process itself. So yeah, I mean, our margins have definitely been impacted by the fastest movement in history of the OCR. We're pleased now that it seems to have hit peak, if we believe what the governor is saying. I think there's probably still a little bit to play out around that, but yeah, for us, we've definitely seen margins being impacted, and kind of no different than someone who owns a house who's had their mortgage fixed. I mean, we don't fix it or hedge all of our borrowings against our loan book, so we've been impacted essentially on that floating component as the OCR has increased.
Can you tell me more tangibly just how much they've been squeezed?
Yeah, I mean, our interest expense in the most recent financial year is up 110% on the year before. I mean, that is the quantum of the impact for us, so that equates to well over $7 million. So yeah, it's a big impact.
So what are you doing there? Are you taking any repricing action perhaps? Yeah,
we've been repricing now for the best part of 18 months. So lifting the rates that we charge people. We've probably been a leader in the auto loan space in that regard. We've really been conscious of kind of protecting our margins, but also ensuring that we're lending to people who can pay us back as well. And we've taken we think a very conservative kind of position around the management of that loan book, because we think that's the right thing to do, particularly when we have a view to what might be coming towards us. And so, yeah, we're quite comfortable with the fact that the loan book hasn't seen any growth over the last year, and may well not for a period yet. But we'll be back into growth mode once we've got confidence around the future.
Right, let's talk about Tina.
Yeah.
How did she come to be? How did that ad campaign all start?
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing kind of process actually, Madison. It was we formed a little internal project team, which consisted of the chairman Grant Baker and John Roberts, who is ex-Saatchi's. We roped in one of his old colleagues from Saatchi's, Kim Thorpe, and then a few of us from inside the business as well, from the management team, and really kind of talk through the problems. I think one of the really great aspects of that campaign was we were just super clear about the answers, or the questions that we were seeking answers to. And one of the main ones was, how do we create more awareness that Turners is a place to sell your car, and try to bring some likability and personality to the brand. And Tina has absolutely delivered on all of those fronts for sure.
Yeah, how successful has that campaign been?
It has been unbelievably successful in terms of the connection she's had as a character, and I think the cut through that we've got for the investment that we've been able to make is just exponentially better than the level of investment that we actually put in. I mean, yeah, we've won some awards and things like that, but we can see it in the business metrics. The additional kind of leads that we've generated, particularly on this sourcing side, so people coming to Turners as a place to sell their car is, that campaign paid for itself in month one, which is pretty unheard of.
Did Tina get a pay rise? She should have.
Tina's locked in. Tina is locked in, and she is well looked after. And I think she's become just a kind of key part of the team here actually.
Go Tina.
Yeah, go Tina.
Thanks for watching Markets with Madison, the New Zealand Herald's show for interested investors. If you want to stay up to date with financial markets, click the subscribe button below, and you can watch our other episodes here. Stay up to date with all the business news and numbers as they land on nzherald.co.nz.